You know, you would think that if by any chance you wanted to lose the most amount of money, you would probably be really doing yourself a favor buying a Bentley GT. Now, contrary to what people believe, even though Bentleys are depreciating right now, generally very customized one-off Bentleys like these that came from the factory as a one-off color typically hold their value significantly better. Now, you may be wondering why. Is it because it's pink and you might be thinking I'm gay? Or is it really pink and is it a wrap? So let's take a moment here and say that pink cars are for real men. Real men wear and eat pink. All right, guys, welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks, and today we are not talking about pink Bentleys. Sorry, I went on a rant there. We are talking about the 3 cars you need to be buying right now because the markets are indicating that they are about to trend up once and for all. Now, if you've been following the channel, I've been telling you for a while to buy a Ford GT. These cars were in the 200s, then they went to the 300s, now they're in the 400s, and little by little, they're climbing to their $1 million glory. But that is not some of the cars we're talking about today. Indeed, we are talking about some of the cars you're not paying attention to that have yet started creeping up around the 10% range and look like they're about to break their next plateau. Now, one of the benefits is that if you can pick up one of these cars before the plateau, then you're immediately gonna be in a 50, 60, 70K positive cash position, putting you in a place to either drive it forever for free or ultimately own a car and end up turning around and making a significant profit. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if I don't understand why hacking is the most financially responsible way to own a car, I want you to click the link in the description below so you can learn for free. And of course, if you love exotic cars as much as I do and want to have a life literally marrying your car, knowing you're gonna have a long-term relationship, then click the second link where you're gonna join Exotic Car Hacks and save over 80% off your ownership, regardless of what exotic or luxury car you drive, thanks to our resources. But today we're talking about 3 cars you haven't necessarily been paying attention to, and we're gonna start with the first one that I actually paid attention to. 7 to 15 months ago, I started looking at these cars and buying a couple, and I kept one of them for me, and that car is the GT2 RS. These cars were trending in the 350s as white sack cars, and less than that for non-white sack cars for quite some time, for about 2 years straight, and now have just started climbing to the 400K range. Now, when we say 400K range, it means that cars with roughly 5,000 miles or less in good color combinations are now actually trading hands, regardless of the wholesale or retail, in the 400K range. So these cars have now trended up over 10% from where they were 15 months ago, which is very important to pay attention to because as that trend starts to go up, we notice that these cars are starting to decrease in volume on the market. They are less good low mileage GT2 RS than they were 15 months ago, 6 months ago, and this trend is showing us that this will make its way to 450 very, very soon. And there could be a particular reason for that. The new GT2 RS was just announced and started being spotted at the Nürburgring with a GT3 RS body, which tells you that this new car coming out with a 400K plus MSRP can only mean one thing. The markup will be crazy and will create a 700K to 800K market for a very rare GT2 RS, which means that these cars will now become a bargain in the 400s and slowly make their way to settle between 450 and 500K. You can still currently, if you're smart enough, buy a YSAC car between 380 and 410 if you know where to look. So that is one opportunity. If you don't know where to look, take our Exotic Car Hacks training and this will help you. The second car you want to be paying attention to that I think is a car that is going to start trending up and really has a lot of potential is right here, and it is the Pistas. Now, we recently saw a boost in Pista Spiders going from the 650s to the 750s to now the 800s, and the Pista Coupes are doing not as much, obviously, being that they are coupes and they're significantly higher volume. Now, with the coupes, we were seeing these cars between 400 and 450, and we're now seeing these cars trend between 500 and 550. So what does that tell us? It tells us that this market has not yet had its boom like the Spider market, and the Spider market is usually 12 months ahead of the coupe market. So this tells us that Pista Spiders popping over the last 6 months means that we're 6 months away from these cars moving up an additional 10% from where they are today. 10% of 500K is 50K, puts you in a very cash positive position to drive a Pista. So there are some things, if you're buying a Pista, you need to be concerned with. You want to buy a car that has less than 10,000 miles. You want to buy a car that does not have any mechanical issues, because turbos can be expensive and are very typical to go bad. These are phenomenal cars, and personally one of my favorite Ferraris of all time. I'm not a Ferrari fan at all.
It's a Ferrari! It's a box.
This was basically it for me for Ferrari. I think this is the best Ferrari has to offer outside of their hypercars. And so this is, in my opinion, the car. Now, so you may be wondering, why am I selling my Pista now if the market's about to pop up? I'm not necessarily selling it. I've listed my Pista, taking in effect the fact that it's a rare spec and modified, including the add-on dollar that's on the market. That said, I'm not looking to sell this just to get rid of it. I'm looking to sell this so I can swap it with a Pista Spider. This is also part of the reason I moved my 812 GTS, because I just believe the markets wouldn't hold. But in this particular case with the Pista, I think it's a good market going up. And finally, a car you're definitely not paying attention to, the GTR Nismo. So this has been a huge pop-up of a car over the last 6 months. Now, people didn't see this one coming, and I kind of thought about it and was really looking over this data like about 12 months ago, and I said, it's a 50-50 chance it moves. When we saw the NSX market start moving, we saw something significant happening. Now, the NSX market started moving after the supermarket started moving, and we realized these cars were gems. These cars are selling for now $380,000 to $500K on the secondary market. The record was set by Bring a Trailer for an 02 at $370,000, which is insanity, because I bought my better car, my 2005 in a better color, for $150K, literally less than like 2 years ago. So double the value, not ordinary, but an incredible boom to pay attention in the JDM market. Because these cars have moved up, it leaves an incredible opportunity for these cars, which have recently shot up 30% from where they were. Now, that's a pretty big number. This is a 2021 Nismo GTR. Now, you could buy a 21 all the way to 24, and they're ultimately the same car. Not much has changed. As long as you're buying a 21 and up, this is a special edition, very rare car. This very same car was selling in the 200s. It is now selling in the 300s, less than 90 days after that. So imagine this boom. You were buying these cars in 200s, now you're paying 100K more for the very same car 90 days later. Imagine buying it at 200 and making 100K payout. Now, this is pretty incredible, and I think this is here to stay. So I think the GTR Nismo 21 and up becoming rarer and rarer in the markets, giving us an opportunity to put them away and collect them. Now, the old days, people were buying these cars and driving the shit out of them. I'm just saying buy one and put it away. Do not buy a regular GTR. The volume is just too high. And do not buy an earlier than 2021 GTR. Buy the last generation style. 21 to 24 is the car you want. If you can get a rare color, it will certainly go up significantly more. These have been my kind of like, these cars are about to pop, you need to pay attention to review. But there's one final contender I want to talk about for a moment, and that's the Viper ACR Extreme. Now, the Viper ACR Extreme was in the mid 200s. There are still a few units floating around the mid 200s, and these cars are now trending in the mid 300s for the right colors, which means that if you account for dealer margins, etc., they are now paying high 200s for a car that they were paying roughly 15% less for a year ago. Now, I want to say that this is a contender to watch. I don't want to say this you have to buy now. There are some good units that come on the market under 300K that can be bought and can be put away. A lot of fun to drive, a great car generally speaking, a lot of one-on-one variations, which makes this a very solid product for Dodge and for your wallet. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these cars, and I hope you'll be taking advantage of buying some so that you can actually start making money as we teach you in Exotic Car Hacks. And ultimately, of course, like, subscribe, turn on notifications to hear more things like this. But let me know in the comments, is there a car you think that is about to pop in the next 90 days I should be paying attention to that perhaps I haven't mentioned on the channel? Put it in the comments, and I'll catch you next time for Exotic Car Hacks.